Hello there, good afternoon, and this is News Today. I am Emefa Akosiadeti. Coming up this afternoon, High Court dismisses former National Signals Bureau boss Kwabena Adu-Boahene's bid to halt trial. We have details as defense challenged to withdrawal of charges against third accused, also rejected as AG formally drops case against Mildred Donkor. We'll also bring you the latest on former Executive Director of the National Service Authority, Osei SCB Entry, and his deputy, Gifty Owari, who appeared in court today to answer charges of alleged financial misconduct involving several millions of cedis. And as well in the bulletin, NPP considering legal action to stop Alan Chermonte from using United Party as the name for its new party. Well, gain for Grenada as the Caribbean island seek to recruit Ghanaian healthcare professionals and deepen cooperation with Ghana. We've got these and more in our 60 minutes package in Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. Please stay for details. We appreciate your company this afternoon. First, the government of Grenada is set to strengthen ties with Ghana with a focus on recruiting Ghanaian nurses and allied health professionals in line with government's Work Abroad program. During his 3-day state visit to Ghana, Grenada Prime Minister Dickson Mitchell will engage with President Mahama and government officials to boost bilateral relations. Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa revealed that the government aims to deepen ties with Caribbean countries, particularly in the context of the African diaspora and repatriatory justice.
We approach these discussions with optimism, a shared commitment, and a strong sense of purpose to translate our long-standing goodwill into concrete, measurable outcomes that will deliver real value to our people. From Ghana's perspective, our engagement in this inaugural session will focus on priority areas of mutual interest aimed at enhancing and strengthening collaboration, namely health, education and skills development, trade and investment, tourism and culture, climate change, and disaster management, as well as multilateral engagements. On health cooperation, we particularly welcome Grenada's interest in recruiting Ghanaian nurses and allied health professionals and look forward to signing of the Memorandum of Understanding on Health Cooperation, which will serve as a framework for this structured collaboration. On education and skills development, Ghana acknowledges the challenges faced by some Ghanaian students studying in Grenada under the Scholarship Secretariat and wishes to assure that efforts are ongoing to address these concerns. On multilateral engagements, beyond the bilateral sphere, Ghana and Grenada share common values in advocating for a fairer and more inclusive global system. We look forward to enhance and closer coordination within the African Union and CARICOM, the United Nations, and other multilateral frameworks to advance the priorities of the Global South, including climate resilience, reforms to global governance structures to ensure greater equity and representation for developing nations, as well as the pursuit of reparatory justice to address the enduring legacies of slavery and colonialism.
We welcome the initiative that has been undertaken, or that has been undertaken in terms of the provision of healthcare professionals, namely nurses. This is an area in which we have a severe shortage. We spend huge sums of money to train our nurses, and then they are poached by countries who can afford to give them better remuneration packages. So this MOU, when signed, will be a testament to what can be achieved when sisters and brothers come together for mutual assistance. We welcome also your pledge to work with us to deal with the climate crisis. We are tiny islands in the Caribbean with very, very small populations. Grenada's population is about 120,000. And there are countries in the Caribbean whose population is under 60,000. That the African diaspora in the West goes beyond the Caribbean. We have significant populations of African extraction in South America. And Brazil has the largest African population outside of Africa. larger than the United States, larger than the entire Caribbean put together. Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, they have significant African populations. And it is lamentable that in South America, the representation of African people at the political level, at the economic level, is woefully inadequate. And so we recognize that a rising and strong Africa could only help lift our sisters and brothers in South and Central America out of the doldrums that they are currently.
Now, the Ghana Association of Certified Registered Anesthetics has threatened to embark on industrial action over the government's delay in recognizing them under a separate regulatory body following years of agitation. Speaking at the annual general meeting in Sunyani, the association's president described anesthetics placed under the Medical and Dental Council as completely misplaced. He called on the government to act immediately to avert any unfavorable action. Precious Samevo has more.
Annual General Meeting and Scientific Session of the Ghana Association of Certified Registered Anesthetists, GACRA, among others, recognized a member, Harriet Otin, of the Adan Government Hospital for her dedication, swift and selfless intervention that saved the life of a pregnant mother at the Adan market in the Eastern region. Speaking on the theme, Advancing Skills and Critical Thinking in Modern Anesthesia, the president of GACRA, James Iwensangra, emphasized that the right support of equipment and skills will ensure effective anesthesia services. He enumerated challenges including poor working conditions, non-existent scheme of service, a lack of structured career progression, and a manpower shortage that requires urgent attention.
Currently, 30% of those trained CRAs have left the shores of the country for greener pastures. However, in a recent survey, the number of CRAs stood as 943. That falls short of the 1,200 that was existing in 2023. Clearly, the figure has a direct pressure on the few service providers in Ghana. It means that one anesthetist here is to 34,944 Ghanaians. The number of CRAs trained per year by the training schools, we can look at it as woefully inadequate. We are therefore calling for an expansion and addition in the number of anesthesia training schools in Ghana.
He called on the government to recognize them under a separate regulatory body instead of the Medical and Dental Council to avert industrial action.
Regulation of CRAs under the Medical and Dental Council, that I deem is a complete misplacement. Medical and Dental Council, with all due respect, that it is meant for dental and medical practitioners. GACRA has fought for a separate regulatory body, either than the Medical and Dental Council over the past years. This call has not received the needed attention. Today, we as CRAs are calling the government in its reset agenda to act now. Otherwise, we shall be forced to act unfavorably, and the only language that the government understands for CRAs, we know when to do it and how to do it, and we do it better than other unions.
In a speech read on his behalf, the Health Minister, Kwabena Adu-Boahene, acknowledged GACRA's concerns with an assurance of measures to address them, including the need for a proper job re-evaluation towards a better salary scale. Precious Samevo, Joy News, Sunyani.
This afternoon, former National Signals Bureau boss Kwabena Adu-Boahene's attempt to put his trial on hold has failed after the High Court threw out an application by his lawyers to stay proceedings in his trial. The lawyers wanted the trial to be paused as they pursued an appeal over a prior decision of the court denying them to access a certain disclosure materials. Member of our legal desk, Kweku Asante, was in court and has joined us on phone for more details. Kweku, first, tell us about the application for stay of proceedings and how the ruling went down. Do I have Kweku on? We'll try again to see how that happened in court. Our colleague who was in court, Kweku Asante, would give us an update on how this afternoon the former National Signals Bureau boss Kwabena Adu-Boahene's attempt to put his trial on hold had failed after the High Court threw out an application by his lawyers to stay proceedings in his trial. Now, the lawyers wanted the trial to be paused as they pursued an appeal over a prior decision of the court denying them access to certain disclosure materials. A member of our legal desk, Kweku Asante, was in court and has joined us via phone to give us updates. Kweku, if you can hear me, first tell us about this application for stay of proceedings and maybe how the ruling went down in court.
So, in previous sessions of this case, lawyers for Kwabena Adu-Boahene and made the application setting up we believe to help them at least see that the field charges are against.
I'm going to have you reposition yourself so we can hear you.
Hello, Anna, can you hear me?
Yes, you're clear. Thank you.
Yes, I'm saying that in the last two days prior to this date in court, Kwabena Adu-Boahene and his lawyers had made a certain application asking for certain documents to make their case stronger in court. They had been denied those documents and they decided that they were going to appeal at the court of appeal. And therefore, they had applied to the High Court on the 6th to put a case pending is not by the appeal. The trial court did not have changed that, which means that the trial will currently, and that's the case, that the stay of proceedings that lawyers for the Kwabena Adu-Boahene were seeking happens in the United States.
Well, Kweku, we'll try again with this next question to see if you can be clear enough. Otherwise, we may have to raise you later in the bulletin or subsequent bulletins. But so the AG also formally announced that. You're watching News Today. Let's get into other stories now. Later today in court, former executive director of the National Service Authority, NSB, and his deputy, Gifty Owari, appeared in court to answer charges of alleged financial misconduct involving several millions of cedis. Adam FM's Prince Owusu was at the High Court and joins us as well for details. Prince, tell me, what happened in court today?
Yes, I was in court this morning around 9 a.m. to listen to proceedings hearings, but when I got here, there was nothing going on. We sat there from 9 to 11 when one of the lawyers for accused persons, lawyer Garinimaku, came and told us that there is no record showing that the case or the hearing is going to take place today. So he and other lawyers left. But as I'm speaking to you, I'm still at the court, and I've seen lawyer Garinimaku and his lawyers. They've come back. They are here at the court, and one of the lawyers that I approached told me they are going to sit for the case. So I'm in front of the court, and I want to enter inside, and I'll be able to tell you if the case, the hearing will come on or it will not come on. But in the morning, around 11 o'clock, he told us that the case will not come on. But as I speak to you, he and other lawyers have entered, and I asked one of the lawyer, a lady, she told me they are going for the case. So I don't know what is going on. So I'm yet to enter again to find out if that case or that proceedings will take place today.
Termination. Thank you for staying there. And if you do, you would update us as well. But I'll take you back to the National Signals Bureau boss, former boss, and I have Kweku. Kweku, I'll give you an update. Let's see. You were quite not clear earlier. Tell me what happened in court today.
Hello?
Yes, Kweku, I can hear you.
Can you take your question again?
Well, Kweku, tell me what happened in court today, especially about the stay of proceedings that the defense was seeking for.
Prior to today, lawyers for Kwabena Adu-Boahene had made certain applications before the court they were asking for certain documents, certain disclosures that they believe will help them make their case. The judge in this matter, Justice Nyante, had denied them that application and denied them those disclosures. And they decided that they were going to file an appeal at the Court of Appeal to challenge the decision by the Trial High Court. For which reason they came back to the High Court and asked for a stay of proceedings, which simply means that they wanted the trial to be put on hold pending the determination of the matters that they've taken to the Court of Appeal. Today, Justice Nyante reasoned that there's no reason to put on hold this trial while that appeal subsists at the Court of Appeal, and therefore dismiss same, which has meant that that trial is expected to continue. And in fact, prior to today taking about 1 hour break, the case was continuing, and the state had called this next prosecution witness and asked them several questions before the proceedings were put on hold for 1 hour. So the application by lawyers for Kwabena Adu-Boahene, led by Samuel Atachia, to put the entire trial on hold has been dismissed.
So the AG made a formal announcement today in court, specifically on the withdrawal of the charges against the third accused.
Yes, MFA, we know that yesterday we saw some court documents that purported to show that the Attorney General was dropping charges against one Mildred Donkor. He's the third accused person in the case the state has built against Kwabena Adu-Boahene. Today, the AG formally informed the court of this decision that they have taken to drop charges against Mildred Donkor, who we know now has become a prosecution witness and will be called at some point to testify in favor of the state. While Justice Shremsai, the Deputy Attorney General, was on his feet addressing the court formally on the decision to drop the charges against Mildred Donkor, Samuel Atachia, lawyer for Kwabena Adu-Boahene, stood up and had an objection. His objection was that the dropping of the charges against Mildred Donkor should have come by way of motion and not by notice of discontinuance, because in his view, the motion will give the judge an opportunity to make a determination as to whether or not the charges must be dropped. But the Deputy AG shot back. In the view of Justice Shremsai, the notice of discontinuance is the way to go, because the Attorney General has the prerogative to decide who to file charges against or who not to file charges against. And so any decision to come by way of motion, which will give the judge an opportunity to make a decision on the matter, will impinge on the Attorney General's discretion and his prerogative to file charges and dismiss him. Ultimately, again, the judge agreed with the state in this matter and overruled the objection raised by the lawyers for Kwabena Adu-Boahene, and the ruling was to the effect that the state was right to have come by way of a notice of discontinuance and not a motion. And so, 2 objections and 2 applications today raised in favor of Kwabena Adu-Boahene, all of them dismissed by the courts.
For putting some clarity to what happened in court today. Now, away from that, this afternoon, scores of parents and students have trooped to the SHS Placement Resolution Centers in search of answers as the process ends today, and the Form 1 students expected to report tomorrow, school tomorrow. Well, many say they are yet to secure placement for the awards, while others are struggling to change schools due to proximity and financial constraints. Let's listen to some of the parents express frustration on this issue.
I came here around 3:30 just to come and then find a placement for my ward. But as of now, nobody is attending to us. My ward was given, I wanted my son to go to technical school instead of secondary school. So they gave him secondary school. So I decided to come here last 3 weeks to do a change of school for him. But they told me to go for 3 or 2 weeks, wait for 2 weeks for my placement. But as of now, when I came this morning, they said they've cancelled the earlier placements I did. So I had to restart all over again. So that's why I'm still here waiting to get the school for my ward.
I'm here for placement.
Is it that your child has not been placed at all?
No, my child has been in place, but he got a day school. He got a day school, but we want a STEM school for her. I was here last week, but they said I should fill a form. I fill it. They said I should check it on my phone. I check it, but nothing. So I have to come here today and check whether things will be all right for me.
But Deputy Coordinator for the Free Senior High School Program, Dr. Belinda Glover, is highly optimistic that issues of the parents and students alike will be addressed.
Yes, of course. Some of them
We apologize for the audio on that. We'll try and bring you that sound a bit later. But away from that, a key member of Dr. Mildred Donkor campaign team, Nana Komia, has launched a strong defense of the Vice President's leadership, declaring that there is absolutely no justification for the New Patriotic Party to replace him as flag bearer. Addressing party supporters at Yeji in the Pro East constituency during the Bono East leg of Dr. Bawumia's Our Journey Together tour, the former Okaikwe South MP said the Vice President's unmatched record spanning 8 years in office and several instances acting as president places him far ahead of all 4 other contenders in the flag bearership race. He maintained that Dr. Bawumia's combination of loyalty, competence and leadership experience makes him the only credible choice to lead the NPP into the 2028 general elections.
President 8 years, or you're acting president for 8 years, it's in the part of hope. Dear friends, if you are your job, by experience, Bawumia or the move still or your champion, our experience. I had it said, when you be a yourself, once a one is said, what the Bawumia in the air. I gave up myself the person beside Kylie. Wouldn't be here, I mean, Kylie. Dear Bakwa, say, go yini power with the party anymore. Lady, I should any super. The what? Who should be here? Who to a man of a year party now with the party anymore. That's what we did Ghana anymore. Who be able to be a college. The what? Who be a OTT now, the what? Obia, Ojanelu, Obia on the Abyssal, Obia, the Castle and Party, the what? Okofa will be, let's say, OBCO, Wadia, or in Chumuruni, until Otoa Manua, or Ghana, or Side part of this Cassandra. Also, the 2 people come one. And I was saying, only 2 people Cassan, a Cassa, the Padre, and Papa. The one. You better catch us the oh, and I wait for you, and do to our Mama, someone is like Cassa. That's a dream for Otsani 2 years back or come. Osan command power. And then West. OBCO, and we are a Muslim.
Still on the NPP, it is considering legal action to stop Alan Chermanton's newly formed party from adopting the name United Party. Wale MP Tia Kabiru argues that the name choice is problematic and could mislead the public, given the NPP's historical roots in the United Party tradition. The minority MP accuses Alan Chermanton's team of attempting to hide under the flag of the UP tradition, potentially distorting political history. The Wale MP says the NPP will test the name's legitimacy in court, confident of that it has a strong case. Now let's engage the NPP or the MP who has been speaking on this particular matter. First, you said the NPP is headed to court over the use of United Party. You say that you're considering. Tell me whether or not you have arrived at a finality or you have arrived at a final conclusion that you will pursue this. But if you do, what exactly will give the party the legal or moral claim to this name?
Yes, but first and foremost, it's not an NPP decision as a political party. I am only a member of the New Patriotic Party who has been elected on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party to represent the good people of Wale as their lawmaker. And the laws of this country are sacred. And that if there's any potential breach of any law, there's a need to bring finality and clarity to that particular matter so that everyone will be at it. The government of my case is that the United Party was a political party formed on the 13th of October 1957. That party was dissolved following the passage of a law by the National Assembly to make Ghana a one-party state. But the history of the now new patriotic party, which was formed somewhere in July 1992, was actually having his roots. It's taking his root from the United Party, led by Abrefa Buja, K.A. Buja. So one cannot understand why in October 2025, Mr. Alan Chermantin is forming a political party and using the name of a political party which the LPP tradition is derived from. You are basically robbing the new patriotic parties of its heritage if we allow the name to stand. And though the Section 10 of the Political Parties Act clearly prohibits the use of a name that is likely to send confusion in the minds of people, I wonder why the Electoral Commission went ahead to still give them the provisional certificate to operate. Nonetheless, admit that it's a provisional certificate, and then subject to any petition, they are bound to review their decision.
And so when you head to court finally, you're going to be asking, under which particular law would you be triggering this?
I have just made provision or reference to the Political Parties Act, which is the laws of the country, which is about the naming or taking names that are similar or that are likely to bring confusion in the minds of people as to which political party you are referring to. That is one. Yeah, I mean, they could also come in a civil action. You understand that people, lawyers, will probably guide and advise that this is a typical case of past law. I mean, an act intending to take the name, the businesses and customer of a particular company, if we consider political party in the light of corporate entities incorporated for that matter. So these are possible avenues, and of course, if advised by counsel, and they would be very much clinical with the laws. But I believe that this particular name is in breach of Section 10 of the Political Parties Act. I believe that it amounts to passing off, and there are laws on the trademark infringement in the country that are supposed to help us resolve the matter.
In an attempt, would you as well be taking on the Electoral Commission, because at least they saw that law and still issued and allowed them to use that name?
Well, I understand that the certificate issue is temporary. It's not a binary, it's not a final certificate. We've had political parties, EC issue provisional certificates to political parties which have not seen the light of day at the end of the day. So you not fault them. It's also based on their casual look at the law. They also understand that they don't have the right to the interpretation of the law, and that what they ordinarily look at is what they are going to apply. And someone brings the matter to their attention and they investigate, or they still deny, the person proceeds to court and then determine the legal rights thereof. I'm sure the EC would oblige. So I don't have issue with the Electoral Commission. Okay. But there is a political party that has been formed that my issues are directed.
I mean, I hear you give a bit of history and background to this particular matter, but particularly, are you concerned more about the brand protection or historical preservation?
It is the historical preservation of the new patriotic party that is at stake here. And it's not about the praises behind the party. I have no issue. They came under movement for change. We all saw their performance. I mean, I don't think that nothing significant would change if they are even a political party properly incorporated or properly established. So my only issue is to the fact that you cannot sit down and allow someone to rob the history of the new patriotic, now new patriotic party, and to deny us of our historical antecedents and how we have come to be called the new patriotic party today. We make reference to the UGCC. We make reference to the Popular Front Party. We make reference to the Northern People's Party. We make reference to the National Liberation Movement, because they are part and parcel of the history of the new patriotic party. What
then would you say to people who say that this appears like the NPP? If no, I mean, you have said that it's not the party in general, it is you. But people, of course, will impute this as well into the party. That it makes the NPP appear quite threatened by the Alan Chermantin's new movement. And how do you respond to this perception?
Right. I mean, it's just so far-fetched, and it is too remote for anyone to assume that a member of the New Patriotic Party raising issue. Mind you, members of the New Patriotic Party, they will raise issue against the New Patriotic Party. Why don't they interpret it to mean that the New Patriotic Party is raising issue against itself? If any member of the New Patriotic Party feels like there's a breach of a law and that there is some acquaintances, there are some people condoning with the, breach of the law, and that you are at liberty to do that and you have the wherewithal to do so, you proceed. And I don't anyone interpreting it to mean the New Patriotic Party. In the fact, I'm not in the New Patriotic Party. I'm only right, and a member of Parliament of the New Patriotic Party. I have not had the I've not had support, the concurrence of the New Patriotic Party in this move. In fact, I'm yet to even consult the New Patriotic Party on these my personal views. But I think that these personal views are born out of my understanding of our history and my understanding of the potential breach to the laws of the country.
Which means that if the party doesn't support this move, you won't be heading to court.
I'm a member of the New Patriotic Party. If it is so realized that the party advisor, though it doesn't breach any law, so don't go, I would oblige. If the party so below, though there are potential breaches, but they are not so fatal, and that the integrity of the New Patriotic Party is at stake and that we should protect it, I will again oblige, because it is about the New Patriotic Party. And if the leadership of the New Patriotic Party thinks otherwise, I will oblige. Dr.
Tia Abdul Kabir Bahama, thank you so much for joining us on the news today. You're watching News Today. Please stay. There's more.
Hello, welcome to the sports segment with me, Benaya Elom Dapamapo. Ghana's Black Stars has moved 2 places up in the latest FIFA ranking following their recent performances in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Otuado's side, having been moved up by 1 place in the latest FIFA ranking, has now moved to the 73rd position as far as the global ranking is concerned. The progression follows Black Stars' performance during the October 2025 international window, where they faced Madagascar and Comoros in the World Cup qualifiers. Ghana recorded a 5-0 victory over Madagascar in Morocco before beating Comoros 1-0 at the Accra Sports Stadium to finish top spot in Group I of the qualifiers. Despite the global progress, Ghana remains 14th in the African rankings. Coach Otuado hopes to boost the team's ranking further when they face Japan and South Korea in the international friendlies next month. Gremio forward Francis Amuzu says he feels ready to represent Ghana following the latest qualification for the 2025-2026 World Cup that Ghana just qualified in. Now, Amuzu, who turned down the opportunity to play for the Black Stars in the past in favor of Belgium, now plies his trade for Brazilian side. Now, according to him, he would gladly welcome any opportunity to represent the country, even though he's only focused on his performances at his club right now.
I came to Belgium when I was 2 years old.
2 years old?
Yeah. Because of my father. He's an ex-football player. So he played in Ghana, in a team in Ghana, and then a Belgium team wanted him, so he came to Belgium. So yeah, me and my father and my sister and my mother, we traveled to Belgium, and that's why I came to Belgium. And yeah, that's why also I play football, because yeah, it's a little bit in the blood of my father, so he gave it to me. So yeah.
So you lived most of your life in Belgium, right? Do you keep any connection to Ghana nowadays?
Yes, of course. Ghana is still my first country. I'm born there, so yeah, I have some contacts there also with my family and stuff. So yeah, I love Ghana.
You know that Ghana qualified to the World Cup today.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I had to congratulate you for that already, or if should I wait for Belgium's qualification to do it?
No, for me, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm born in Ghana, so yeah, for me, I'm happy that they are qualified for the World Cup. It's a wonderful tournament also to play. It's one of the biggest tournaments in the world, so yeah, I'm happy that they qualified, and yes.
Is playing a World Cup or playing the next World Cup a goal for you? And have you already decided between Belgium or Ghana? which country would you prefer to represent?
For me, to be honest, at the moment, my heart is really at Ghana. So yeah, if Ghana comes, for sure I will go. And yeah, I hope they can call me. But now my focus is just here at Grêmio to try and perform every game, and then in the future we'll see what happens.
And that's it for the sports segment. For more stories, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is Business with Winston Taki.
Welcome back to Business here on JoyNews Today. My name is Winston Taki, and out of first business story. The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, says it will commence a pilot phase of the registration of new number plate from December 15, 2025. The new design plate would have a regional identifier at the top of the plate and an area code at the end of the plate, making it easier to trace the vehicle to a specific place. The following report has more.
To the DVLA, all the necessary legal groundwork for change in number plates have been completed and will be laid in Parliament when the House resumes. Acting Director in charge of driver training, testing and licensing at DVLA, Kafui Semevo, highlights some of the key features on the new number plates.
The background map you see is a map of the registration region. So if a vehicle was registered in the Greater Accra, that is the map you see. Now you see a round circle there. That space is for biannual renewal stickers. The law requires that we undertake biannual renewal of vehicle registration numbers. It is a way to identify which vehicles have been written off and which vehicles are still active in the database. Currently, if we give you the number of vehicles registered, that is cumulative. So there may be some vehicles within that number that are actually not on the road again.
The Chief Executive Officer, Julius Nikwe Kote, said the new design removes the old practice of placing the registration year at the end of number plates. He stated that the new plates have been enhanced with technological features that will help identify vehicles and their owners in real time to enhance road safety. He added that the process has been well thought out ahead of the full implementation in January 2026 to prevent overcrowding at DVLA offices.
How we are going to enroll it will let the public embrace it or reject it. And as I told you guys or indicated to you earlier, we've engaged most stakeholders. They are in agreement with what we are doing. We are going out to engage the public from here, and we hope the public will embrace, because it is your security and my security. The security of the state must always be paramount. So that is what we know. Ghana loses a lot of money because of smuggling of cars. My brother, there are 25 illegal routes by which people used to bring cars into the system. And when you are paying duty, and I'm not paying duty, but yet we are calling for development, how does it sound? Everyone in this country driving a car must ensure that that car he or she is driving, duty has been paid on it. And it is a way to check that. It is a way to check our security system as well. Someone steals a car from you. If the car is really registered with DVLA, and I type the car number, I'll be able to tell you where the car is. And it is only with DVLA. So the court gives us any order, it is only with the DVLA.
Away from that, the extractive and oil and gas sectors contributed about 20% to the country's gross domestic product in the first half of 2025. This was disclosed by the second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana, Mildred Donkor. Although she admits that contribution of the extractive sector cannot be ignored, she was quick to charge financial institutions to look beyond profit lines and ensure they lend to environmentally sustainable businesses. She She spoke at a forum organized by the International Finance Corporation on sustainable banking.
According to the Bank of Ghana, the country recorded a 73.6% compliance rate with green financing and sustainable banking standards as of Q1 2025. While the bank continues to implement enhanced sustainable banking frameworks, global institutions such as the International Finance Corporation, IFC, are also promoting industry collaborations to advance sustainable financial practices. Speaking at a forum organized by the IFC on sustainable banking, Second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Matilda Asante-Asiedu, urged financial institutions to look beyond profit lines and prioritize sustainable lending.
I was just doing the math. Between mining and oil and gas, in the first half of this year, contribution to GDP was 20%. So that's significant. It's the backbone that supports our economy. But it also comes with its own issues and risks. And as people in the financial services sector, our objective, obviously, especially if you're in a commercial environment as I used to be, is profit making. But this morning, I believe that as we start the conversations, we should also begin to think beyond quarterly results, beyond annual financials.
John Ewa, CEO of the Ghana Association of Banks, called for reforms that will make it easier for banks to lend sustainably.
Access to sustainable finance is often constrained by high perceived risk and limited long-term funding sources. This is where de-risking mechanisms become indispensable. We must actively explore and scale up tools such as partial credit guarantee schemes to lower perceived risk for both banks and investing in sustainable extractive projects. Political risk insurance and first loss capital instruments to protect lenders and investors against regulatory, environmental, or operational uncertainties.
Meanwhile, Yewande Jiwa, Senior Country Manager at the IFC, expressed optimism that continued engagement would lead to a greener environment.
In IFC, we're guided by our IFC performance standards, which I'm sure you're all aware of. These guidelines are designed to help businesses and financial institutions identify, assess, and manage environmental risks effectively. Beyond risk, these guidelines open doors to efficiency, innovation, and long-term value creation.
The Bank of Ghana says it will continue to strengthen sustainable frameworks, including green finance, to promote a more resilient and environmentally sustainable financial ecosystem.
Also for business, up next is Showbiz.
And it's time now for Showbiz. I am Loishola Adeyemi. I bring you stories happening in and around the world of entertainment. Now, weeks after Ghanaians celebrated the life of high life legend Daddy Lumba, new developments have emerged surrounding his passing and funeral arrangements. Now, months after his death, the musician's widow and elder sister are calling for an independent investigation into the circumstances surrounding his passing, and a separate court injunction has put his final funeral plans on hold. For now, a court has adjourned a case involving the funeral to October 28, and there's more in this report.
Known to many as Daddy Lumba, passed away on July 26 at the Bank Hospital in Accra. His death shocked fans across Ghana, with tributes pouring in from admirers and fellow musicians. Following a moving vigil, the family later announced a funeral date for December 6 at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in Kumasi. But as preparations continue, fresh concerns have been raised by some members of the family.
Here today in deep gratitude for the life of our father, for the love he gave us, and the legacy he leaves behind.
My father was a man who cared deeply, and he loved fiercely. He taught us all resilience. He taught us strength. He gave from his spirit without ever needing applause.
In a joint statement, his widow Akosua Sewa Fosu and elder sister Ernestina Fosu said there were conflicting accounts about how the musician died. They are both urging Ghanaian and German authorities to investigate and provide clarity.
Well, and that's it for Showbiz. For more entertainment stories, please log on to myjoyonline.com. We take a little break. When we come back, there's more.